Good morning. Today's my topic is maintenance. Section 18. Maintenance of wife. Subject to the provisions of this section, a Hindu wife, whether married before or after the commencement of this act, shall be entitled to be maintained by her husband during her lifetime. A Hindu wife shall be entitled to live separately from her husband without forfeiting her claim to maintenance if he is guilty of desertion, that is to say, of abandoning her without reasonable cause and without her consent or against her wish, or of wilfully neglecting her, if he has treated her with such cruelty as to cause a reasonable apprehension in her mind that it will be harmful or injurious to live with her husband. If he is suffering from a violent form of leprosy, if he has any other wife living, if he keeps a concubine in the same house in which his wife is living, or habitually resides with a concubine elsewhere, if he has ceased to be Hindu by conversion to another religion, if there is any other cause justifying her living separately. A Hindu wife shall not be entitled to separate resigns any maintenance from her husband if she is unchaste or ceases to be a Hindu by conversion to another religion. Section 19. Maintenance of widowed daughter-in-law. A Hindu wife, whether married before or after the commencement of this act, shall be entitled to be maintained after the death of her husband by her father-in-law, provided and to the extent that she is unable to maintain herself out of her own earnings or other property, or where she has no property of her own, is unable to obtain maintenance from the estate of her husband or her father or mother, or from her son or daughter, if any, or his or her estate. Any obligation under subsection 1 shall not be enforceable if the father-in-law has not the means to do so from any compulsory property in his possession out of which the daughter-in-law has not obtained any share, and any such obligation shall cease on the remarriage of the daughter-in-law. Section 20. Maintenance of children and aged parents. Subject to the provisions of this section, a Hindu is bound during his or her lifetime to maintain his or her legitimate or illegitimate children and his or her aged or infirm parents. A legitimate or illegitimate child may claim from his or her father or mother so long as the child is a minor. The obligation of a person to maintain his or her aged or infirm parents or a daughter who is unmarried extend in so far as the parent or the unmarried daughter, as the case may be, is unable to maintain himself or herself out of his or her own earnings or other property. Explanation. In this section, parent includes a childless stepmother. Section 21. Dependents defined. For the purposes of this chapter, dependents. Dependents means the following relatives of the deceased: his or her father, his or her mother, his widow, so long as she does not remarry, his or her son or the son of his predeceased son, or the son or predeceased son of his predeceased son, so long as he is a minor, provided and the extent that he is unable to obtain maintenance in the case of a grandson from his father's or mother estate, and in the case of a great grandson from the estate of his father or mother or father's father or father's mother, his or her unmarried daughter, or the unmarried daughter of his predeceased son, or the unmarried daughter of a predeceased son of his predeceased son, so long as she remains unmarried, provided and to the extent that she is unable to obtain maintenance in the case of a granddaughter from her father's or mother's estate, and in the case of a great grandson daughters from the estate of her father or mother or father's father or father's mother. His widowed daughter, provided and to the extent that she is unable to obtain maintenance from the estate of her husband or from her son or daughter if any, or his or her estate, or from her father-in-law or his father or the estate of either of them. Any widow of his son or a son of his predeceased son, so long as she does not remarry, provided and to the extent that she is unable to obtain maintenance from her husband, estate, or from her son or daughter, if any, or his or her estate, or in the case of a grandson's widow, also from her father-in-law estate, his or her minor illegitimate son, so long as he remains a minor, his or her illegitimate daughter, so long as she remains unmarried. Amount of maintenance, it shall be in the discretion of the court to determine whether any, and if so, what maintenance shall be awarded under the provision of this act, and in doing so the court shall have due regard to the consideration set out in subsection 2 or subsection 3, as the case may be, so far as they are applicable, in determining the amount of maintenance, if any, to be awarded to a wife, children, or aged or infirm parents. Under this act, regard shall be had to the position and the status of the parties and the reasonable wants of the claimant, the value of the claimant's property and any income derived from such property or from the claimant's own earnings or from any other sources, the number of persons entitled to maintenance under this act. In determining the amount of maintenance, if any, to be awarded to a dependent under this act, regarded shall be had to the net value of the estate of the deceased after providing for the payment of his debt. The provision, if any, made under a will of the deceased in the respect of the dependent, the degree of relationship between the two, the reasonable wants of the dependent, the past relation between the dependent and the deceased, the value of the property of the dependent and any income derived from such property or from his or her earnings or from any